Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we got to look at the Friesland Swirsky on the screen there. We got our standard destroyer build Sims for extra HP and Bay for a little bit more concealment. What's the deal with the Friesland? Well, there's no torpedoes on this thing, pure gunboat. Now this one's been quite a popular ship, but was part of the last campaign. You see them out there a lot. Whether you went with the Loyang, you didn't go with Friesland, or maybe you're watching this, after that campaign, you didn't have a chance to get the Friesland. You should know what this thing is capable of. This game here, we're going to see on the map shards here. Domination mode, of course. This is pre-adjustment of the spawn, so these spawns, I think it's pre-adjustment of the spawns. If that happened this update, I can't remember anymore, but regardless, these may or may not be the spawns that we're currently seeing. Doesn't really matter. What we're going to be doing moving into B here, and we also want to scout the lane into the northern B spawn, the red B spawn, because we do have a cruiser and battleship behind us, it looks like, and they're going to be looking for shots. And a lot of times on this map, the ships will be shooting the opposite ships in front of them. You also do want to be looking for crossfire opportunities. If you're into B, on the south side, we'd be looking into firing into the north side of A, or if you're on the north side of B, fire into the south side of C. And the flanks can also look for crossfire shots into the middle. So pay attention to the map when you're playing this one. That's when usually you're going to get a lot of big damage here. But here we are moving in this lane. We are on the cap. We got a Kansas there that we're going to be spotting. We just want to, number one, try and capture this cap if possible. We do have two destroyers, so we're keeping an eye on the map, seeing if we see any bases get captured so we can figure out where they are. But we want to keep this lane spotted as well. Now, Miyoko could potentially be a problem if he turns hard into the island in the right-hand side of the screen. He could get behind cover, and then potentially he could be a pretty big threat to us. So we do need to be paying attention to him, trying to keep him spotted, hoping that the team will take some shots at him, as he is obviously the bigger threat to the destroyer, unlike the battleship, who can't even shoot us at the moment. One destroyer spotted on A, and we're still keeping an eye. Is the other destroyer over here or not? We don't yet know. Shots coming in on the Miyoko there, and that's good. You can see hesitates about pushing in here now. People don't like getting shot, and they'll usually react. So that's why we're trying to keep him spotted here, and good job with the teammates adding some shots into him. Do have the base captured now, so we can take a little bit more risk. We're not worried about getting reset at this point in time. Miyoko showing some broadside, and we decide to load in the AP and start chiming in. Now he takes a vicious shot there that takes out about half his health, but look how fast we can pile on the damage our own selves here. And you should be keeping an eye on the damage counter during this game when we're kind of firing on ships. When we finally start landing shots consistently, and you can see how fast they spray out of there, the damage can pile up very quickly. 7,000 damage in the matter of mere seconds there. Twist and Track suggesting closest ship was the battleship north of B. We don't care about him. Currently, he's not threatening the cap. We already secured that cap. And we know the destroyer and a cruiser are over here trying to capture A. So we got Indianapolis and the Friesland popping up. We're going to take risks here, obviously being near both of these ships. On an individual basis, dangerous. Both of them at the same time, very dangerous. Indianapolis, of course, has a 10-kilometer radar, and we got to assume, since we didn't have a destroyer deploy over there, or perhaps he died, I guess. But we got to assume that he's got the radar ready to go at this point in time. So we're pulling forward here, getting behind this cover, deploying the smoke as well. But we want to be able to disengage in case that radar goes off. Then we basically waste his radar. And there it goes right there. So immediately we're going to gun the engine, get that island in between us and that ship so he can't be putting shots into here. And the Georgia. Good awareness with the Georgia and good willingness to shoot the destroyer, and it pays off big. Boom. Lose about a third of our health in that exchange. So pretty good radar there overall. Of course, you'd like to kill the destroyer every time the radar goes off, but at least they got some damage. Nothing more frustrating than a radar where nothing is produced in terms of damage. So we kind of got a lay of the land. We did kill the Friesland. We know the Indianapolis is around here. We do have a battleship to the south of A. Now we're hoping he pulls forward here, and the cruiser as well. We need some support from these ships. So we're moving into A, trying to get this cap under control, because we can see they got C under control, and the battleship is thinking about moving into B, trying to flip that. So we're going to be taking yet more risks. And we always talk about destroyers. Do we want to be pushing into cruisers? Generally, no. Okay, it's generally a very bad idea. I'm hoping he's kind of sailing off, but there's no reason to believe that he isn't. In fact, there he pops up there, 3 kilometers away. Got the HE loaded. Going to be trying to target the guns, mostly for defensive purposes here. We'll get any damage, any shots that miss the turrets, they'll hit the superstructure generally. But if we can knock the guns out like we do there, one of them, that'll limit the amount of damage that's coming back our direction. We do need help from the team, though. That's very dangerous. Luckily, we didn't get reset there, or not significantly, and we're able to, once again, capture the base. Okay, so keep an eye on B. They are, looks like they're on the verge of contesting it, if not already, but that cap's under threat. Broadside Georgia. Usually when we're going to be trying to whale on battleships like this, the preferred shell selection would be to start a fire, potentially 2 fires, and see if they use the damage con. But once you got those fires burning, then you can switch over to the AP. But you can see vicious damage, 760 per shot, and basically we're getting 2 shots out every second and a half or whatever it is. Now we switch over to HE, trying to get those fires going. And if they put it out, great. You know, that removes their ability to use the damage control for, you know, over a minute. So that alone, just getting them to spend that consumable like they did there, is valuable. We could once again go to AP at this point in time because we can't start a fire for a little while. The consumables on cooldown, and when it's on cooldown like that, or it's actually active to be more precise. But when it's actively being used, then they're protected from further fire. So he's sailing off there. We elect to stop shooting now, and we need to get back into B, okay? Because domination mode game, we all should know how to win this by now. Or if you're new to the channel, I'll explain it to you. You got to capture and control one side of the map. In this case, we got A, and then we need to capture and control the center, and then defend the center from the other team. That's generally always going to be your game plan going into this. So we can see the Iowa is the one moving in here, attacking B, trying to flip that, and we're going to try and do our best to keep this island in between us. It looks like he's slowing down there, but we're still going to go full speed until we guarantee that the center of a ship isn't going to pop around there, because once that center clears that high cliff, then we're going to be able to be spotted. That's where the spotting between ships happen, in the center of the ship. And we got to make sure we don't be taking too much more damage here, because we are getting relatively low. We're down to about 1/3 of our health. And once again, keep an eye on the damage output here. So we do get the fire going, and then once again, like we were describing earlier, we switch over to the AP. Now we got passive background fire damage and the maximum amount of active, AP damage just piling on. 14,000, 1,400 every little bit here, 1,000 there, 600 there. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. We're going to add in these together. These are vicious shots, and the damage is coming in fast and furious. So this is why when you got the Friesland on the opposite team, you just need to be aware of what it's capable of doing, how it can absolutely destroy your team's chances, and just try and focus on it and get rid of it as soon as you can. You know, a lot of people might underestimate it. It doesn't have torpedo threats. Someone was asking me about that on one of the recent comments in my videos. What's the scoop with this destroyer? Why would anybody want it? It doesn't have torpedoes. This is why, okay? It does the role well. It captures bases, kills destroyers, and it deals probably on average way more damage than your destroyer will generally get, because torpedo hits, you're going to be getting about 10% of the time you'll be landing the shots. My hit accuracy, I just checked it the other day, it's probably down to 8% accuracy with the torps, because we use them liberally and, in a zoning fashion rather than a targeted fashion generally. But keep that in mind. You know, that's some destroyer games, yes, you'll have huge output from the torpedoes, but on average, unless you're playing them too recklessly, you know, the torpedo damage is a little bit more hit and miss, I guess, at the point I'm trying to make. And keep in mind here, we're spraying the Georgia, we're spraying all these guys here, able to lob these shots over here, fairly floaty shells, you know, unlike something like the Russian destroyers where we would really have a hard time clearing these islands here. We're able to sneak these over here, and these are all free shots, right? We were having a hard time hitting them necessarily. We got to be looking on the map, seeing what they're doing, keep zooming in and out to let the game kind of reset where that ship is trending to help us aid. But, you know, we still got plenty of resets. We got some fires on the guy, more damage, scared him off the cap. Well, talking about scaring people off, here comes the Belfast, and this is a problem, okay? This is a major problem. Radar cruiser, quick hitting gun, you know, made to kill destroyers, basically. So we're gunning it, we're sailing away from them. Look at the diagram on the map there, trying to get away and piling on the damage as best we can. But we got to get this island once again in between us and that ship. This is how we protect ourselves in this game. You can't just always rely on kiting and trying to dodge stuff. You got to be utilizing the island cover as best as possible. That Belfast did take a fair amount of hits, though. He did get us down to essentially a one-shot, more or less. But once again, you can see the radar going off, and unable to produce damage, unable to produce a dead destroyer as a result of that radar. So by baiting that out, that's another win in the column book for the Friesland. Now we're kind of just trying to get away from him. He's capturing B. We can't do anything about it. What are we going to do? Rush a Belfast? You kidding me? No, we're not going to do that. We're getting away from the Belfast. We're still trying to affect the fight over here as best as possible. You can see we're tied in ships. Very tight in the score at this point in time. And once they do capture B, which they should be able to do now that we don't have the ability to contest the cap, we got to be keeping an eye on the score. So we need to be aggressive here, going, hard, getting over here as quick as we can, going hard, starting to get the damage piling on here, trying to get the fires going. Drop spot for a brief second there, but the Iowa, it's not going to be teleporting anywhere too quickly. We can still kind of blind fire whenever we do lose shots on that guy, but as long as he's lit here, then we continue to light him on fire and get the damage, whatever else, and we need to get that ship off the board. And we're not forgetting about the Belfast either. We do need to be keeping an eye on the situation, making sure, the second we get spotted, we know it's going to be the Belfast, or if we see him pop up on the map, got to be keeping an eye on that sort of situation, because once again, Belfast gets us in his sights, we're done. Okay, so piling on the Iowa, scaring him away, trying to get him off the cap, because we do want to potentially recapture the cap if need be. But killing these ships is now looking more and more viable in terms of the wind condition. There's the Belfast right there. We are spotted, and this is a problem. Once again, we'll be targeting these guns. Don't be targeting cruiser guns with AP shells if you're in the destroyer. Don't be targeting battleship guns with AP when you're in a cruiser. You got to have big enough oomph to knock those out. But the HE can whittle them down and knock those guns out effectively. Immediately gun the engine, and once again, keeping the island in between us. Taking the shots whenever we can, but that's not the main thing. We got to be staying alive here. We are now in a firm control in terms of ship count, so things are looking good, and luckily the team doing a great job blasting the Belfast. He's in we're in his sonar range rather at this point in time, but doesn't look to me on the map at least that anyone can shoot us currently. Down goes the Belfast. We do shoot there, and just as we shoot, we do get spotted by the Kansas. But at this point in time, he's the last ship left. We got 119 at this point in time, and once again, this will be a good demonstration of the damage we can do here. We got one fire going. Got the high caliber, 2 fires. Okay, let's go ahead and switch over to the AP any second now when we think about it. At least, I don't know. I'm trying to get the 3rd fire, I think, on that mid-smoke stack section of the ship, but should be going for AP right there. We'd be getting more damage, because broadside American battleships are kind of made for destroyers to plink with AP. So I guess that was a mistake there. I'm calling it like I would like to play it, not how it actually existed. So anyway, that's a look at the Friesland for you guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, well, consider subscribing. We do got a lot of World of Warships, and it's coming all the time for you. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you guys, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.